Hello to all of you. Thank you very much for attending this Dynaway webinar. It is today, 16th of March, 1500 hours, at least in Denmark. And today we have a concept of registering contractors' work. This webinar is a part of a series where we're taking a deeper dive into Dynaway EAM functionality for Business Central specifically. And it's one of many recordings, so it will be recorded. And with me today I have Christoph, who's our team lead. So he will take you safely through the product presentation. My name is Mikkel, and I will be answering any questions you may have. So please put them in the chat block, and we'll get back to you during the webinar or shortly after with any questions you may have. But Christoph, that was the very short introduction here. So I want to hand over the presentation to you. So please take it away.
Thank you, Mikkel. I hope you can see Business Central now.
Yes, we can.
So, starting with the contractors is, of course, for the maintenance, contractors are quite important. A lot of companies are using the contractor works to do the maintenance of the own assets. So we also need to have, and we have such functionality. However, it is little called different. It's called expenses in our case, because it's not only corresponding to the contractors, but much more. So let's imagine that our company, which I will be showing today, is doing bike repairs, and they have own bikes, but they also need to repair them, and they are using the contractors for them. So what does it mean? They asking the contractor to come to the warehouse or place, and after all, they will get invoice after such a person, or the company, in fact, will do the maintenance. If we're talking about the invoices, at the end, it means that we should use our vendors, so those companies which are approved and they are in our ERP system, and we still are in the ERP system. But we don't want to show all the vendors to the maintenance part of the business of the company. So maybe I will start, instead of expenses, I will go to the vendor card. Vendors, and one thing which you need to set as a vendor, you can have, of course, many vendors, but in the bottom of our card, you will see that we have a new tab for Business Central, which is called Maintenance, and in Maintenance we can mark the vendors if they are our maintenance vendors, if they are our contractors. You also can see how many work order plans they have attached. I will show you later, but also how many work orders and how many we already posted for them work orders. So that's what you can do, and you need to do to the vendor card, to the vendor before we will start setting up the expenses. That's only one setup, and the second one is that we can put the expenses, and to be honest, our customers using it very different from different angles, but one of what we would like to set up is our task. So for example, we have a task for changing tire, fix a wheel, or inspection of our bike in this case, right? And we can attach it to different types. So I can attach it to the resource, which will allows me to plan the work for our contractors, which is also very useful. But also we can add another expenses, which is, for example, that our contractor will send us an invoice for refunding the cost, for refunding the hotel, for whatever else we would choose. Why we using the expenses for that, not directly GL account, as you can see here, because maintenance team doesn't need to know exactly on which GL account we should pay such costs, which later we will get the invoice from our contractor. So that's one. If we have our expenses, our things which need to be done, right? So for example, changing tire or fix a wheel, we can also define the default contractor, default vendor, default quantity, but also a default expected cost, right? So that's something which we can do on the list. But of course, we can have a situation that both our vendors, number 10 and number 20 in our contractors, can do that. So there is a button which is called the Contractors. And if we will go here, you can see that I can set up different prices per my vendor. I also, by this, can define that my vendors, this service, can be done by both of my vendors. So they can both change the tire, and they have little different prices for that, but both can do that. Different situation is for fix a wheel. I have only one vendor. They are experts in bike fixing, and as you can see, they are only one contractor for my company who can do this maintenance, right? So we already know the setup. We know what our contractors can do. We also know what type of work our contractors will do. We can set up the prices, default ones, if we know them. And we also have additional costs for our contractors, which they can also give us. So let's imagine that we have maintenance of our bike. So maybe I will just go to, I already have some maintenance, but let me just create a new one. So let me go to the asset tree, and I will find any bike which just broke. So let's say number 16. And we would like to do the fix and the tire, right? So let me just create the work order quickly. So we have a work order. We don't have any resources and items for it, but what we can do, first of all, we can set up the vendor number in the header. So our contractor, we will know which contractor is responsible for this work order. That's one thing, but we also need to specify what that contractor will do. And you can mix it. For example, contractor is coming only for the work, but the spare parts you are providing to this contractor, then the spare parts you will put as items, so that it will be taken from your stock. Maybe you also have situation that your contractor is followed by your employee who will be needing, who will need to do the inspection after the work. You can set up such a person, internal person, in the resources field, right? But today we have only the contractor, and we can specify what that contractor needs to do. So we said that it needs to be fix the wheel. As you can see, automatically, oh no, I said fix a tire, but we see that the vendor is automatically filled. So let me just change it, and I will change it to change tire, but I can choose a different vendor as well for it, right? So as you can see, my price is different because my vendor 10 had this price, vendor 20 had different price. Of course, in this moment you may have a question: do we need those prices? You can use them. You don't need to use the prices, but you also later will be able to modify them on the invoice. So let's set one more thing. So our vendor also would like to have a refund from our costs. So let's choose again. And he said that he traveled 10 kilometers and $1 for each kilometer. Quite costly change of tire, but that's how it is. Right, so what we need to do next, we need to just post the consumption for our expenses. We can also close the work order if the work is finished, but if we still need to modify something, we can only post the consumption. So now I know that the contractor came, he did the job, right? Everything is now okay with my tire. I can close it. So let me just pause and close our work order. So what happened now? We have our bike 16, and we already can see the cost of this bike. So let me open the asset statistic. As you can see, my cost is already $60 in this case, because my expenses costed me $60, right? So I didn't get an invoice yet, right? So how we know that? This is based on our cost, which we put it the expected cost. So in our vendor work order ledger entries, we will see the vendor number, we will see expected cost for the unit cost, but also for the line. As you can see, there is a check mark for our cost from our contractor that this is the expenses open, right? So we still didn't get an invoice for that. And we have actual expenses, it's 0. So what happened, what to do with that? Let's open the purchase invoice for our vendor. Okay, purchase invoice. I will just create a new invoice. As I remember, that was number 10. And we get an invoice from our vendor at the end of the month, probably, maybe already just after a work. So how to get the lines automatically to the system? We could put them manually, but there is an action which is called get work order expenses. So what we need to put here is a date. I will just put it whole year. I think I will just find something there. Just only do one thing. Check. Okay, one more time. I will get that. I think it was the March. It was March. Get posted lines. Okay. I know what is wrong. I think I didn't put the proper invoice. Zero 101. Okay, I will do it a little different. Sorry for that. So let me only check the bike repair, and instead of that, I will just click and choose the manual work order line. So what you can see, what system did automatically choose what is the work order number and what is the expense, but also put the expected cost. Of course, it may happen that we get different price. So let's say that our vendor, our the vendor which we were working, he said that we have discount for our price. So we automatically can see that I have 45 instead of 50. Let me just pause our invoice. So let's go to our work order ledger entries at this moment. And if we will see now, instead of 50, my cost is 45. I can also see that how it went. So I have my invoice. I can also find the entries. And this is where we get actual cost from for our service, which we have for our contractor. That's one thing. But I also, so from the cost perspective, you can see that we already have proper costs after the invoice which we get from our vendor. But I also said that we can plan our maintenance. So for the contractors. So the one thing which I would like to show you in this area is in our scheduling board. We not only have our internal resources, which you can find here, but you can also see my vendors and my contractors. So let's imagine the situation and that we have two contractors, as I have here, but you can see that something which I said before, only one of them can fix a wheel, right? This one can only change the tire and do the inspection of our bikes, but this contractor can do all of my work which I have. So he can change the tire, he can fix a wheel, but also can do the inspection. And let's see that from this view, we can see that I have some work planned this day for our contractor number 10, but he doesn't have any other work this week. So maybe we can just call him and tell him, look, you know, we will take from you this job because we have someone who is coming to us tomorrow. So let's just change it, right? So my work order number 3 at this moment is assigned to to our contractor, which is number 10. But as I said, we will change it to our contractor number 2, and also that he will be able to come tomorrow. Right, so as simply as that, let's open the work order now. You can see that it's already changed to number 20, right? The price is a little different because this contractor takes $75, but that's something which we can decide. So now when our contractor number 10 and our 20 bike fix experts will come tomorrow, they will have little more work than only this, what we planned for them previously. As you can see, the contractors you can very easily distinguish from your normal resources. They are here shown in the different color, and they are also shown in the bottom of the scheduling board below your own resources. So that's how you can do the scheduling, but we have some works as well, which our contractors, for example, coming to us every day or every week for some specific job. That's something which you also can do and plan on the work order plans, which if you are not familiar with the concept, please watch our other videos, which we also have on our website. You can put the expenses. So I can put my inspection, and I can specify which vendor will be responsible for my inspection, how much time it will take him, and what is the expected cost for my inspection. But I also can specify that this one is recurring weekly, every Monday, and starting from this week. So we already can also plan the work before something will break, so we can know when our contractor will come to us, and maybe he will say, sorry, I cannot do it today, maybe I can do it tomorrow. Then you can use the shuttling board to change that. Saying that, I will go back to the presentation, and Mikkel, back to you. Thanks for this topic.
Thank you very much, Christoph. It was a fantastic presentation, and I really hope the audience enjoyed it. So as you can see here, it was a 20-minute presentation. I'll do this quickly so we don't run over time, but there are many on-demand webinars on different topics. This was the last one here on the list. You can find the remaining ones on the URL specified in the bottom of the screen. And if we move to the next slide, we still have 2 topics coming up. So asset downtime entries, maintenance budgets, and statistics. So that will happen next week and the week after. And we certainly look forward to completing these webinars, and it means that we will have a new list coming up for upcoming webinars. So if there's something you wish to see in the future, please email us at any time with the topics that you would like us to cover. But as usual, they will be recorded and they will be placed in the same location. So that was it from today. I really hope you enjoyed it. Sign up for our newsletter, visit the website for more information, or reach out to us if there's something specifically we should cover. I want to say thank you very much and have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.